that pretty much leads me into the very next segment. What are your expectations for Mac Jones this upcoming season? And Teddy, I'm going to you first because this is your guy.
Mac and cheese, baby. He's coming
Bruh.
out. He's coming out, and he is gonna let everybody, all these little New England fans with the fever, get out of here. Um, he's his rookie year. He had a 67.6 completion rate, threw for 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks, led the team to the playoffs, and then got obliterated in the playoffs by the Bills. I know you were waiting for it, Dave. I know you. And then last year he missed a couple games with the high ankle sprain that he suffered against the Ravens. He still had 65.2 completion percentage, 2,997 yards, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks, and that was with uh, defensive coordinator calling plays. I expect him to come out and do what he did his rookie year, but more. I expect more. Um, I'm going to say 4,000 yards.
4,000 yards. I mean, he did have 3,800 yards his rookie season, so I can see him getting close to that with the OC. Like you said, last year was not, his best season, but that wasn't his fault. He did have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, the ones
Stop the
calling
cap.
the offensive plays. But Tony, you are, not that big of a Mac Jones fan, but you are a Patriots fan. So, what are your expectations for Mac Jones this season? Now
So
that he
so
has an offensive coordinator.
so let me let me clear something up first. It's not that I'm not a Mac Jones fan, right? It's just that there were I thought he regressed. The thing is that one of the qualities of quarterbacks is a couple things: being able to read defenses, be able to put people in protection, into protection in the manner in which you need to be, and things like that. He didn't do any of that last year. He didn't. He actually took a step back when doing that last year. So I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all. I think he has the potential, more than the potential, to be a good quarterback in this league. The thing he needs to do is be able to take that knowledge that he got the year before and move forward with it. Even if you didn't have the guys there, you read, you look at film, you look at things like that, you read things read things off of that. We're not doing what some receiver in Miami talked about, how he reads defenses. But anyway, but actually look at film. I don't see how that happened last year. I saw him miss a lot of throws that were very easy throws to make. So now, could that have been a problem? Because it could have been an issue with his footwork. Could have been, right. I mean, no, it was his footwork, and we know, but could have been the high ankle sprain that he was playing on. Could have been, right. But it still doesn't mean that you can't throw up there. I've had an injury before. I've had to tape up and play with it before and throw with that injury before. I know what it feels like. It doesn't feel good at all, especially if you're playing for it. So, but I expect Matt to be better. The one thing that's going to make him a lot better this year is the fact that he has receivers that's built for Bill O'Brien's offense. All the receivers that we have, most people don't think that they have the collection of receivers that we have aren't good. They were picked specifically for Bill O'Brien's offense, someone that can be quick off the line and things like that. The thing is, Mac has to be able to see that early. Where am I going with the ball? If that's not open, what's my second read? He has issues with that. He has that progression issue, and if he can fix that, then I'm just like you, man. I can see him throwing 4,000 yards this year, right?
We
Especially
talked about this all week.
right?
Everybody do your job, okay?
I can see him doing that though, right? And notwithstanding that, having Zeke and Ramondre behind them running the ball, it's gonna help him a lot too. So I can see him throwing for that much. Now I'm not going to give another prediction. I think, but I think he's going to be really good this year. I think he's going to be Pro Bowl caliber this year, and because he protects the ball. The one thing that we know is that he's good at being accurate at times. Last year, I'm almost certain that it had to be the foot injury that caused a lot of things that was going on. That's why I wanted Zappy to be in there for the most part last year, because he was hurt and he played hurt a lot.
All right, I'm gonna actually throw in another question, something that you guys probably wasn't expecting. Um, what do you think the coach Bill Belichick is on the hot seat for this season?
No,
Why not? Even after he had a bad season last year,
Bill
and
Belichick. Why you? What do you mean? What are you talking about? It's
Literally,
Bill
just
Belichick.
the only reason why I asked is because some people are saying that he should be on the hot seat, and I heard that your owner Robert Kraft said that he is expecting him to do better this year. So if he does
Everyone's
not do better, do you expect him to be on the hot seat?
everyone's expecting him to be better. He's the general manager. You think he's gonna fire himself? I mean, it's not gonna happen. And he's not in the hot seat. Like, he made a bad decision last year. They admitted that it was a bad decision last year for not hiring him. And most of y'all don't know this. He was actually supposed to be Bill O'Brien was supposed to be the offensive coordinator there last year. That's what fell through. That's why he didn't sign an office coordinator, because he was actually trying to get Bill O'Brien from Alabama, but Bill O'Brien decided to stay, and he had like no other options. Like, at that point in time, it was like, who are you going to bring in there? And at that point in time, all right, who would you bring in there? Like, if anybody can tell me that, who would you bring in there at that point in time? So there was nobody there to bring in at that time. Now, he would have been better off calling the plays, because if most of y'all don't remember, in that Super Bowl against the Giants, he actually took over calling the offensive plays and actually did a heck of a job doing that when we came back and almost beat the Giants. But if he just made a bad decision, he's not going to get fired. Like, one bad decision from Bill Belichick after taking that team to that many Super Bowls, do you really think they're going to get rid of him? The answer is no.
I didn't think so. I just
All I
feel like
ask is, when you lay your head on that pillow at night, know I gave you everything I had.
shout, shout out to Tomo, man. He is on point with these sound effects, man. He just knows what to say at what time. But there's a question that was actually in the comments that I was actually going to ask next. And Tony, I know you felt good about this guy last season, but like you said, you still are, hoping that Mac Jones does well. There's another guy in the chat, Carl, who thinks Bailey Zappi is the answer for New England. Teddy, I got to ask you this: do you think Mac Jones will finish the season as the starting quarterback?
if you guys are in the chats, you know exactly how I feel about Bailey Zappi. No. Bailey Zappi is not the answer. Mac Jones is. There's a reason why we went and got him 15th overall. He's going to finish the season as a starting quarterback, and hopefully, bring us into the playoffs again.
Okay, Tony, you think? Do you think he stays as the starter for the rest of the season?
Barring injuries, yes. Yeah, Bailey Zappi is probably the prototypical backup quarterback. He's somebody that can hold you over for some games. All right. The reason I wanted him in there last year is because Mac just wasn't there. They should have sat him down. Don't put him back there and let him get injured even worse than what he needed to be here. Right. Like, he was already injured. You can tell what he was playing. He was trying to run, and he looked like Peyton Manning trying to run. Right. So, and he's a lot more athletic than um, he's a lot more athletic than Peyton Manning, and he couldn't move around at all in that pocket. He had no, he couldn't move, right? And he's pretty good, and he's pretty decent in the pocket. He's not great in the pocket, but he's pretty decent. He's Brady in the pocket, right? I know where to slide to make sure that I can. He's not exactly Brady, but you get what I'm saying. Brady had the ability to move, so to help his offensive line out. He did that a lot his rookie year, where he was starting to move to do the same thing, right? I did say that, Joe, and that's the reason why I said it. I think that he wasn't doing the job that he should have been doing last year. and he should have been benched, right? But and nothing against him. I think he is the starting quarterback for that team. I think this year going in, he was going to be the starting quarterback for this team, and I have absolutely no problem with that because I think that he is an NFL caliber quarterback. Bailey Zappi ain't there yet. Yeah, don't look. The college numbers were great, right? He threw for a lot of yards, threw for a lot of touchdowns even in 1 year. They were great, but he is definitely not Trey Lance. Anyway, but um, you you got to have. He's the prototypical quarterback for built for that offense. You know what I'm saying? Even the kid in Carolina, he's really a pocket quarterback. Even though he's small, he's really a pocket quarterback. He was built for that Alabama offense, and you can't. Bailey moves around and he's like Brett Favre and back there. He's like, all right, you know what? You supposed to be right here, so I'm gonna throw the ball right here. And if you're not there, then so be it. I'm gonna curse you out on the sideline. We don't need that. We need someone to be more stable in there.
You have been zapped.
He had to just add that. There's no way he had that in there before. There's no way. There's no way. That's funny. So I want to talk about some of the additions that you got this offseason. I know you mentioned Juju. I think that was a good pickup. But someone that you recently just picked up, and you just mentioned it, Ezekiel Elliott. Now I know someone in the chat who I had an argument with. Said that he may possibly take over the starting running back position from Ramondre Stevenson.
Stop the cap.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true, but even with that being the case, what do you expect his impact to be with the Patriots this season? Tony, I'm going to you first.
All right. So first of all, I told you we were going to sign him instead of Devin, right? I told you that, right?
You did. You did.
So we're gonna sign him.
Accusation. False accusation.
I just want to point that out. All right. Now, let's talk about this. So you have two guys that I liken them to when Georgia, and I had to bring them in here, when Georgia had Gurley and they had Chubb, right? That's what they have right there. Ramondre is a little slicker. He's a little he can move a little bit more, and that's how Todd Gurley, right? And then Zeke is going to be like Chubb. He's going to come in there in the end, and he's going to bam, all right. And once they get tired, you're going to get tired of trying to tackle those two guys, right? You're going to get tired of trying to tackle them. I think his career is going to be rejuvenated. They kept trying to run Zeke to the outside at Dallas. I don't know why they were doing that so much. He's not that type of runner. He was never that runner at Ohio State. So trying to pitch him and trying to get him to go find a hole or something like that. Nah, run that dude up the middle, right? Run him up the middle and do things like that with him. So I expect for them. I don't think either one of them will probably gain 1,000 yards this year because of how they're going to use them. All right. But the one thing that both of them have, the skill that I don't know which one of those running backs are getting cut, Tyler Montgomery. But I don't know which one of those guys are getting cut, but I can see two of those running backs getting cut because they both do everything. Both of them are good at pass blocking. Both of them are good at catching the ball out of the backfield. Both of them are good at running up the middle, and that's what the offense for Brian is like. So, who's going to be there? Like who? Like they don't need any breathe. They're going to, check out each other. So, I can see them having a great year. I don't know if either one of them will gain 1,000 yards, but I can see both of them getting at least 10 touchdowns each.
Okay, Teddy.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of brought him in to be that power back, kind of like Tony was saying, like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, put him in and just halfback dive, run these guys over. I like his nose for the end zone. He's always had a nose for the end zone in Dallas, but they really weren't using him as exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Let's go. They like Tony
Do
said,
me
they
a
weren't.
favor, please. Get out of here.
That's right. Good
Get
one.
out of here.
Good one, Tomo. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, yeah, they really weren't using him uh, to his best ability. And I feel like the offense is in here in New England is going to fit him better. Um, and I feel like he's going to have a great season. I'm not throwing out yards or touchdowns or anything like that, but he's going to he's going to be a key role in this offense.
That's good. That's good. Now I want to talk about a guy who's already been on your team, but he has some off the season. He has some off the field issues this off season. But from what things look like, he's actually going to be playing this year. Jack Jones. What do you expect from him on the defense this year? And what do you expect your defense to be ranked this year? Do you expect your guys, your defense to be top 10, top five? Where do you think your defense will be? Teddy, I'm gonna start with you first.
Um, Jack Jones, if he can find a way to get on the field, I think he's going to be effective. Um, but I feel like the defense will be top 12 this season. Um, we brought back Trey Flowers. You guys know how I feel about this man Jalen Mills. Um, he he's not all that, but he comes through sometimes.
You sure about that?
And drafting Christian Gonzalez and Keon White, I feel like they're gonna have pretty good rookie seasons in this defense that puts people in spots to where they can excel. They're not gonna put them out there in situations where it's like iffy for them to succeed, you know, and that's what they do in New England. So I expect them to have a top 12 defense this season.
All right, Tony.
All right, so I guess we talk about Jones first, right? He better hope he's still on the team. All right, like just being real, he better hope he's still on the team. And it's not for the off season stuff. It's for what's going on in camp altogether. Right? He got kicked out of camp once already. He didn't look too real. He looked let's see what he looks like tomorrow when he's on the field, because those guys out there last week looked pretty good, right? Now, as far as the defense go, where I expect for them to go, I don't know. I'm a little more optimistic than I guess you are, Teddy. I think they'll finish somewhere near the top five, right? And the reason why I think they'll finish near the top five is just for what you just said, right? The draft picks that we had, that first of all, we got somebody on we drafted Gonzalez, right? But that wasn't the pick. That wasn't the pick. Getting him in the second round like we did to go opposite side of Judon, it's going to make that defense sick,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because remember, they always tried to go away from Judon. They were like when they ran, they did everything. They went away from Judon because they knew that hey, he's going to get off his block and he's going to get there. Now you got a guy on the other side that can do the exact same thing. He caused nothing but havoc last week,
Yep.
right? So I think this defense is going to be good. I like what they did with Mills. I thought he was never. I thought after Philly, he stopped being a cornerback. So he was a safety at that point in time. I thought he could have moved to safety at that point in time, but McCourty was there, who he wasn't going to go. He not taking McCourty's spot, all right? But and then I think that our linebacker, I really love our linebacker core. I really love our defensive lines. I think this is going to be a season where the defense is going to carry them in the beginning, and then you're going to see that the offense is going to catch up. So most people think that they're going to be this team, and everybody and I apologize. I know we're talking about the Patriots, but let's talk about that other team up north, well, a little bit lower us right there, the Jets. Let's talk about them. They talk, oh, they Super Bowl and all that stuff like this. If they don't fix that offensive line, that 40 that soon to be 40-year quarterback ain't going to last for the whole year, and then they're going to have the other kid. Yeah. So I mean, and then yeah, the other guy in there, we'll see what happens when he get his first hit and see if he lasts. Now, and I'm not being funny, but it's just true. The kid in Miami, let's see what happens with him when he gets hit.
Come on now, dog.
You
Come
know,
on, man.
so I'm just saying, like the two teams and the two more stable, they got a lot of stuff in there, but the two more stable teams in there is Buffalo and us, right? Buffalo and us. So we'll see how it turns out. Two teams out of the East are going to the playoffs. Which two is going to be, we'll figure it out.
It almost seems guaranteed that the Bills is going to be one of those. I guess is what's the other team, but
one injury at quarterback can change that.
That's true. That's true. I am glad that you mentioned two of your draft picks with Christian Gonzalez and Keon White. Because my next question was, how do you think you guys did in the draft? You had 12 draft picks this year. You got to get Chad Ryland out of Maryland. You got Antonio Mafia out of UCLA. You got two guys. You got another guy out of Michigan State. You got one from Michigan State. Two guys from Michigan State this year. The punter and the cornerback. You got Bryce Baringer and Amir Speed. So out of that draft, how do you feel about how you guys drafted this year? Tony, I'm starting with you.
I thought they drafted really, really well, right? I knew they were going to. So the one thing that didn't shock me is that they drafted a punter. That didn't shock me at all, right? Everyone was like, a punter? Like, did you see what happened last year? It was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. I was surprised he didn't go in the first round. But but in all seriousness, I think they drafted really well, right? They always, the one thing that Belichick's going to do, he's going to build up the offensive line, he's going to build up the defensive line, he's going to get secondary people. He almost never drafts linebackers, which is really shocking. But he almost never drafts linebackers he drafts linebackers for his style, and then when they don't pan out, he gets rid of them fast.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't hold on to them. So and then we go to our farm league, Cleveland, and we get their linebackers and we play off of those guys right there. But yeah, I was actually pretty happy with how they drafted, considering how he normally drafts. This was actually a really good draft for him. I was shocked. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was shocked by the Gonzalez pick. I was really shocked by it. But I was happy with it because I was like, we need someone like that on the team. So anyway, that's how I see it.
All right. And Teddy?
Yeah, I don't have any complaints about the draft. Just like Tony said, I'm glad they got a punter because Jake Bailey, he was not it last season, man. Like, you got one job, buddy, one job, and the year before he was great. It's like, how do you do that in one season? Like, that was shocking to me. It was crazy. I'm glad that the picks that they made to boost up this secondary. Yeah, no complaints.
All right. So now I'm going to get into.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.